What's up, everybody? We're here. We're queer. I'm kidding. What?
Alright. Come out
So,
of the closet now, are you?
no, I'm not. I was never in the closet. I mean, what I mean is, I'm not gay. That's what I meant.
So is this what the video's about?
Yeah. Yeah. No, this is all. It's all a coming out thing. No,
Okay.
guys, I'm in a happy relationship. Okay. So, with a woman, don't let him fool you.
And a man named Michael.
Hey, a man named Michael. Michael
Yeah.
Afton. What?
Mm-hmm.
Gosh. Okay, so let's see. What's something that we may want to talk about? You know what? You know what's always
What's the last thing we talked about?
last time?
What was the last stream? Like the last political thing we talked about.
Let me
Like,
check. I don't really remember, to be honest, because we did the fad stream and let me see.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Let's see. Also, chat. I got this background remover thing. Let me know if you guys like it. I'm probably gonna get a normal green screen soon, but the last thing we did was it was the 3 weeks ago the Maduro plea and other developments. So around the time Venezuela.
Oh yes. Yep.
So we haven't talked about Alex Preddy shooting. We haven't talked about um,
Renee.
Renee Good. Right. We haven't talked about a couple of these things. So yeah, there's actually a good amount to talk about. I guess we'll start on Alex Preddy. So, as everybody
Yep.
probably already knows,
Bigger news. Then.
here, let me get exact dates for you. So, January 24th, an ICU nurse was shot by Border Patrol agents in Minneapolis. Multiple times he was shot. And yeah, everything else, it kind of just starts to become, well, he said, she said, like, we don't, we know a good amount, but there's still, I think, some questions. And also, just things to talk about it. And there is other video that came out after the fact that shows him. I believe it was like 10 days before.
Yes. It was like. I don't know. No. I don't know. I don't know the date.
Yeah, a video of him harassing ICE officers and then kicking out a taillight of one of the vehicles, and they got out. They started fighting with him, and then he was able to get away, and he was kind of released. They just kind of like roughed him up a little bit and
Yeah,
let him
they
go
let
on
him
his merry
go.
way. Which, I mean, you broke it's destruction of property. So
Yeah.
he should have been arrested. Sorry, but
It should have been.
you know, and apparently he broke a rib. I don't know if it was in that instance or maybe some other instance. It's pretty clear that
Probably
he,
that.
yeah, it's pretty clear that he had been out there. It's not because I remember like when it first happened, everybody was like, "Oh my gosh, this innocent ICU nurse was shot and he didn't do anything wrong," and or not that he didn't do anything wrong, but he wasn't like involved in the protest. It's pretty clear
Yeah.
now that he has been involved in protests and violence. But that's a different question, right? That's that video. We're talking about the video in which he was shot. and I'm going to turn it to you, Chris, to give your take and what we know so far about that.
Well, so I don't know much about the leading up.
Okay.
They Border Patrol agents were, I don't know why I think they pushed a female. They pushed a woman, correct?
Yes. Yeah, and he was like trying to help her, I think.
Yes. He confronted them, I'm guessing.
Yeah, and I believe he was I don't know. He was getting in the way and yelling
Yeah.
and all that.
I think yes. I think also during this time he didn't pull his weapon, but he brandished it, aka he showed it.
Right.
The officers were made well known that he had a firearm in his waistband.
Right. And
Either it was in
yeah.
his waistband in a holster or it was unholstered. I think it was holstered though.
Right. And
It was
also
more than likely.
we'll talk about a lot of the reactions to it and people claiming that now the right doesn't like the Second Amendment and all that.
Yeah, we'll get to.
But continue.
Well, so he brandished it. So they knew he had a handgun, and apparently as well, he even had during the first altercation where they roughed him up after he broke the tail light. He had the handgun. I choke it on my own spit.
Nope.
Sorry.
You're good.
He had the handgun on him as well.
Yeah.
So he might have been on the radar, but it's very unlikely.
Right.
And also, it's very unlikely that even if he was on the radar, that they would have even known that it was him in the moment.
Right. Right. Like that's like what you would get at like a traffic stop, right? Where like you run the plates and you know that this guy has a warrant or something. Like they did nothing like that because they couldn't. It was in the moment.
Yeah.
Unless one of them was like like a typical nerd photo where he's like holding the gaming laptop and doing code or something while he's there. None of them were doing that. So they probably didn't know exactly who he was at first, you know.
Yeah.
Obviously now they know who he was, but
Yes.
yeah.
And so they began a confrontation and a tussle. Multiple border agents. A lot of confusion. But I mean, if more than likely. So I'm gonna go off based off a lot of things that I see. More than likely, during the events that occurred, he probably was fighting. He obviously was fighting to gain control of his own arms. While the border patrol agents were trying to detain and arm lock him, trying to get him into cuffs. More than likely.
Right. He was resisting. Right. He was actively fighting and trying to get off the ground and trying to push him off of him. Right.
So this probably resulted. I mean, not probably. It's gonna happen. They're going to worry about him trying to grab the gun,
Right.
which is even more priority to get him into handcuffs because they know he has the gun. They know he does.
Right.
Because he had brandished it. He had shown the officers, or maybe he had not directly shown, but it became evident before the tussle that he did have the firearm.
Mm-hmm.
So, I cannot say because we don't know. We don't have a good angle. He may have been reaching for his waistband. He may not have. But they knew where the gun was, and this resulted in one of the officers. I do not know the name. I don't think we know the names of any of the officers that were involved.
I haven't
One
seen
of the
any names
officers
come
in
out.
the gray sweater.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, in the gray sweater, got was moving around, got in between the tussle a little bit, and took Alex Preddy's firearm away from him. And I'm not gonna get into my opinions just yet. Proceeded to walk away.
Yeah.
Which it is unconfirmed whether or not two scenarios happened here. The handgun that Alex Preddy had is a P320, which is a SIG handgun, which has been known to misfire a lot
Right.
by light taps, droppings. It is not a very secure firearm.
Right.
And in some of the frames, people are saying you can see the handgun that's in the gray sweater's officer's possession at this point the slide of the handgun slide back in one of the frames.
Okay. Yeah.
And so that could be one of the first shots, which then resulted. Obviously, a shot's gonna go off. The police, well, sorry, I'm just gonna say officers. The
Yes.
officers shot him.
Right.
Or two, officers fearing for their lives, unable to get control of him, shot him. Which, in my opinion, still, I'm gonna put my opinion. If that is what happened, they shot him because they were in fear of their life. That's not, no.
Right.
But I'm pretty sure what did happen was that the P320 did misfire in the officer's possession, and it's either did misfire or the officer pulled the trigger. But no matter what, I'm pretty sure that is what happened. Um,
Right.
so it misfired, shot him. Multiple officers shot him. I mean, I don't know if they tried. They more than likely immediately tried to render aid, but he was shot multiple times. It's very unlikely. He probably did die on scene and was then later confirmed dead at a hospital.
Right.
But they probably did render aid, and that's where later on the iconic video of one of the officers screaming, "Where is the firearm? Where is the handgun?"
Yeah.
That people in the beginning tried to use to show that he never did have a handgun in the first place.
Yeah. No, yeah, obviously now, and, if you had seen, which, people were like, oh, people will spin, stories however which way they want, but if anybody was actually paying attention, they would have seen that the guy had a gun on him, whether or not it was used or not, whether or not it went off or not, still in question. I suppose I'll give my opinion real quick.
Yep, that's fine.
I can see both of your arguments for sure.
Which arguments?
That if that the handgun, if it went off, obviously officers on a guy, they know he has a gun. They don't know where the gun is if he still has it on him. If the officer or the person who took the gun away even notified that he had taken it, because I mean, in a scuffle, you're not worried about what everybody else is doing. You're worried about what you're doing in that moment. You're not worried about what the other officers are doing as long as they're on top of him alongside you. And I'll get to that too, because people have opinions on it. We're like, oh, they didn't need 10 guys to get on top of him. Shut up. Okay, you obviously don't know how policing works, but it's a lot easier to take a guy down quickly and with force than with multiple people than with one guy, because if you're doing it with one guy, you're going to have to hurt the guy. Okay, you're going to have to hurt him.
Yes.
And it's a lot easier for multiple people to use their weight to put him down on the ground instead of you having to, like, I don't know, fucking baton his knees in, or really get rough with him. So, correct me if I'm wrong, when it comes to at least a certain level of a reasonable officer needs to have a reasonable reason to be afraid or fear for his life in order to pull the trigger, right? Okay. Now,
Yes.
if the firearm went
But
off,
then that also changes depending on. So, and then this I'm going to add. It depends on what's going on.
right?
The fear for the life only happens if they're, such as, they have a knife or a handgun and they're coming at you, or they're running away into a populous area. That's
Right.
where fearing for your life or others and in using lethal force occurs.
Yeah.
But it's different when a shot has already been fired.
Correct.
At that point,
Right.
it is a kind of a it is much different, but it's not as dumbed down as this. But pretty much, you can shoot the guy. You can open fire. That is lethal force
Right.
authorized.
Right, and by the way, when I just said that about within reason, a reasonable officer needs to determine whether or not his life is in danger. That is in reference to if the gun didn't go off and they still didn't know where the gun was, and maybe because obviously we don't have an angle on what they were seeing, so maybe he was reaching
Yeah.
or something. Maybe because maybe he didn't know that the gun was taken. Like I said, in a scuffle, you don't really know what's going on, and Alex Peretti might have not known that his gun was taken away from him by a federal officer. So, and at that point, and if they didn't know, and they just saw the arm movement, and he didn't know, that's a recipe for disaster. And obviously, disaster came to Peretti.
But I will say, I said it a moment ago, if the fact that um that that they were just fearing for their life about him having the handgun, it is not enough and will not hold up in court.
No, it probably won't hold up in court.
Because that in that scenario, personally, and I think what a lot of other people, juries as well, will see that none of those officers in that moment were in fear for their life or should have been in fear for their life. There was multiple of them. They were getting him under control. Yes, he could have still squirmed away to get to the handgun in his waistband, but then he also then has to proceed to get it out of the waistband and get it into a trajectory to shoot an officer.
Right.
All while at that point they would have known he would have taken the handgun out and they would have started fighting his hand
Right.
more directly.
And that's just hypothetical, obviously, because like I said, we don't know what they were seeing. We don't know what kind of movements Alex Peretti was making. So what I could be saying could be completely incorrect.
Yeah.
This is just a theory.
Yeah.
But it's an unfortunate event, obviously. It doesn't look great, obviously. Of course, people would begin immediately were like, ICE agents shot him. It wasn't ICE, it was Border Patrol, two different agencies. ICE is immigration, dealing with the internals of the country. Border Patrol is, like it says, on the border. So, but they were brought in because, what was the reason they were brought in? I'm trying to remember. I know I just heard it. Why Border Patrol agents were brought in. Probably for extra effectiveness, I suppose.
Yeah.
And just to have another federal agency in place over there. Because obviously, state law enforcement isn't doing anything. They're not really helping from what it looks like.
Yeah,
So,
there's also another story
oh really?
that we'll have to get into with that.
Okay.
So, do you know about the hotel?
Yes, I do. Yeah,
Okay,
that
well,
they
that's
that they went in there.
Yeah, and they fucked up a hotel.
Yeah.
And do you know what happened at the end?
Wasn't it? It has to do with law enforcement, doesn't it? Wasn't
Yes.
it where? Isn't it
We'll
where
get-
ICE was staying? I think.
Supposedly staying. It's not been confirmed that's where they were staying.
Right.
But there's something that a little bit add on towards the end of it that we'll get into. But let's finish with Alex Peretti real quick.
Okay. And
Uh,
there's some other factors to this story, obviously, that I want to really quick touch on. And
yeah, that's fine.
and I've gotten a lot of different opinions from different people, whether it was justified, whether it wasn't justified, and obviously in hindsight, knowing that the gun was gone, it is a bad shoot. Just on that level, right? Just on that level. Not talking about, because everybody's like, oh, we've analyzed the footage, slow motion, frame by frame. Life doesn't happen frame by frame. Life happens in the moment. And if that gun went off and the officers in that moment feared for their lives because they just heard a gun go off and they know this guy has a gun, they don't know where the gun is. He could have pulled it out. He could have shot. then at that moment it makes sense, or it's at least explainable, right? Why they shot. And of course, people are like, "Oh, why did they all need to shoot?" They didn't all shoot. I believe, what was it? 2 officers fired. I don't think all of them fired. That would be.
I don't know, but at the same time, the saying, "Why did all these officers have to shoot, and why did they have to shoot so much?" is it goes to show how little you actually know what you're talking about.
Right.
Officers are trained to shoot until the threat is stopped.
Right.
While that is maybe a little fucked up to say morally, there's been plenty of videos that I've seen.
Right.
And obviously these are videos. It doesn't happen to everyone.
Yeah.
But there's plenty of evidence that shows that you shoot someone, they go down, but they get right back up and start shooting at you.
Right. They might not stay
or
down.
they start coming at you again. Yeah.
Right. Or if they have a firearm and they're on the ground, people know you can shoot from on the ground, right? Like, that's still possible. So, you know, people obviously, they just want to use any and every excuse possible to make them look bad. And maybe they made themselves look bad. We don't fully know 100% yet. Okay? Baseline. We
And
don't
I like to
know
bring up this
everything yet.
story
Right.
a lot.
Mhm.
There was I forget how many times he was shot, but I'm pretty sure it was over 13 times.
Yeah.
He was drugged up. An officer got into a shootout with this man. He got shot in the heart, I think, in 3 different places.
Mhm.
Multiple wounds into the lower and upper abdomen. I think to the appendages, the legs and arms, I think as well.
Mhm.
And then so multiple times, I think almost immediately he was shot in the chest and in the heart.
Right.
And he still kept going, still kept shooting at the officer.
Yep.
The officer only was able to put him down when he peeked his head under a car, and the officer was able to squeeze the trigger and put a round into the guy's head.
Yep.
I know that's a little screwed up ending, but that guy took 3 shots to the heart and multiple other wounds to the upper and lower chest
Right.
and abdomen.
Right.
He did not go down.
Yep.
And he shot, I think, multiple magazines. Like, he missed some, he hit some. You shoot until the target is stopped, until the threat has stopped.
Right. I think people need to. This is going to sound not great, but people need to grow up. Okay? Policing, it's an ugly business. Okay? It's ugly. It looks ugly. It looks bad. It looks terrible. But guess what? That policing is the reason why you aren't the one at the receiving end of the other guy who they're fighting, stabbing you, shooting you, raping you, killing you, beating you up, stealing your stuff. That's the reason, because these guys are doing the ugly business, the ugly moves. They're taking the blows here to protect us. Okay? Do you not want to be protected? Oh, wait, I'm sorry. They don't want to be protected because these are the same fucks who chanted, defund the police. What, you know, like, come on. Seriously. Grow up. Policing looks gross when it is on television. Now, if you just read it, right? If you read it, it doesn't look as bad because, you know that they did a good thing. But if every police shooting, like let's say, right? This would never happen, mind you, but let's just say in an alternate universe, every body cam on a police officer goes to a live channel, right? Where the whole country can watch. Okay? And someone was, and there's a shooting, or they're having to wrestle a guy. It's gonna look really bad. Of course, it's gonna look really bad, especially from certain angles. Let's say that there's cameras everywhere and they're always live, right? And you just watch it happen, or you tune in right as it's happening. It looks bad. Okay? No one denies that. And sometimes in policing, it doesn't have to look so bad because they used excessive force. That is understandable. That happens sometimes, of course. But it's going to look bad regardless when you have a perp who is not listening not following commands, not getting on the ground when they need to, fleeing in a vehicle, getting out and shooting. You know, like it looks bad, but the police have to do what they have to do, and that goes for federal officers as well. Specifically, ICE dealing with murderers, rapists, child predators, drug traffickers, human traffickers. Like these are the people that they're having to deal with. We do realize this, right? Everybody's like, "Oh, the Epstein list, there's a pedophile." You are defending pedophiles, okay? You are. Unlike Trump and all these guys who it's not completely known whether or not they are or not, or there's dicey evidence and we need to wait for all the evidence to come out, these people are documented criminals, okay? Put aside the fact that they came into this country illegally, which is a crime in itself, of course, but dealing with illegal immigrants who have committed other crimes, whether that's in the United States or abroad. These are the worst of the worst, okay? These are the worst people. And you guys want to defend them? Give me a break. Seriously. And of course, they'll just close their ears when you start talking about what these illegal immigrants actually have done. Like, who was it? Who was it? Someone in the federal government. It was either a representative or a senator from Maryland. Went down. You remember that Maryland that the news was calling a good Maryland father. It was like last year. Yeah, and that legislator actually took a trip to El Salvador because he had been deported.
Yes.
And spoke with him, and was like, oh, it's bad, and that you were deported. This guy had a rap sheet, pretty big one, domestic violence, against his wife, like
possible traffic,
right? Yep, exactly.
I don't know if it was confirmed or not.
Yeah.
Kidnapping, I believe as well. Like,
Yeah.
just
I really, right? And at the end of the day, guess what? He's here illegally, and he needs to leave. Okay. Of course, if we want to focus on the hardened criminals, absolutely, it'll be an easier pill for the American people to swallow. But I hate to break it to you, all these people have to leave. Okay, you came here illegally, you got to leave. Sorry, you could be a great person, you got to leave. It's just how it is. And you know what? The good people who have done nothing other than that and have just been trying to make a living, enjoy the American dream. I'm pretty sure Trump's even said, go back to your country and we can work something out. Maybe you can come back as a legal citizen, right? A legal immigrant. We can work something out, especially if you leave on your own accord and ICE doesn't have to drag you out into the street and put you in a van and then put you on a plane back to your country. Maybe we can deal something. Maybe we can make a deal, right? We can work something out for you to come here legally. But you gotta leave. Okay? You have to. And I guess we can talk about some of the PR issues and so.
Can I
Yeah.
state my opinion?
Oh yeah, for sure. Sorry, I got a little heated, a little
No, you're fine.
irritated at this whole situation.
You're fine. So, I already said my opinion. I'll say it again. If the officers, if the officers were fearing for their life and they shot him because of that, that's pretty stupid. I don't agree with that. I believe then the officers that shot should be charged for their actions, because that is very dumb. That is not a very good excuse for yourself to use as
Right.
I feared for my life and others.
Right,
You
that's
had plenty of people on him.
and that's
you
if
could've
the gun didn't go off, right?
detained. That's if that's if the gun didn't go off at all.
Right,
Now we're
right.
going to the scenario if the gun did go off, which
Right.
I believe is more likely what happened.
Okay.
Because such as the frame, that you would have to explain why in the frame the slide is shown sliding back.
Right.
You would have to explain that about what happened there.
Yeah.
And it wasn't him. I don't think it was him clearing it. I think it was just I don't think his hand was on the slide to clear it, so it just slid back for some reason.
It kind of looked.
That means
Yeah.
it went off.
From the footage, it kind of looked like he didn't. He like probably had two hands on it for like a second just to get it, and then he ran off with it in one hand. Is what it kind of looked
Yeah.
like in the footage. So yeah.
1 second.
Yep. Maybe I can pull up that footage here. Let's see. What's that say? What is this? Just gonna pull this up on here real quick.
So, all right, I'm back. Sorry, I got a call. If the firearm went off, either the officer pulling it or not pulling it, and I think that will also change a little bit more. I personally think the only people that should be charged at that point with the firearm going off should be the gray sweater man, and I don't think the shooting officer should be charged at all, because a gun went off. That it changes things. That is an immediate. Now there's a gun that just went off.
Right.
I don't know where that just was pointed. You're fearing for your officers' lives, and now you're fearing for your own. That is more than well enough reason at that point to use deadly force and put the target down. Sad to say.
Yep. Right.
Now we're gonna go back to this gray officer that took the handgun. No matter what, I think in both scenarios though, gray sweater man needs to be charged.
Yep.
Because he took the handgun and didn't tell anyone. Didn't say a single thing. Most of the time when stuff happens like that and you have a handgun involved, you take it away, or later on you will notify everyone else that the handgun has been secured.
Right.
You don't just say nothing.
Right.
That resulted in the scenario which I believe happened, which was the handgun misfiring or going off. That resulted in Alex Preddy's death.
Right.
Because no one was informed. In both scenarios, it resulted in his death. Because no one knew the handgun was away.
Mm-hmm.
No one knew. The only person that knew was the gray sweater man, who had the handgun in his hands.
Right.
And what makes it worse is that he walked away and still told no one, even after the shooting was over. And that's why I brought up the very iconic video that came out afterwards of him shooting, of the officer screaming, "Where's the handgun?" Because even at that point, the gray sweater guy had not told anyone.
Right.
That is extreme. What's it called? What would it be
Negligence, malpractice.
Negligence. There we go. Extreme negligence.
Yeah.
There we go. Thank you.
Mhm.
That is horrible. And if anyone should be charged, it should be him. He failed. He put people at risk. He put his
Right.
officers. He put Alex, and everyone at risk for saying nothing.
Right.
The officers that shot and were hands-on could only do what they knew in the moment, and they had no clue the gun was gone.
Right. Okay. Yeah. No, I agree with that. I agree with that position for sure.
No matter what, gray sweater man needs to be reprimanded or charged or investigated.
Yep.
That was really bad on his part.
Right. I agree.
Because both scenarios that no matter what, him saying nothing at all in both scenarios results in Alex Petty's death.
Yeah.
Because he did not inform anyone.
Yeah. Here, I have a. Here, let me share my screen with you. I have a news story right here. The DOJ opens federal civil rights investigation into killing of Alex Preddy. U.S. Deputy Attorney General announced on Friday that the Justice Department has opened a federal civil rights investigation into the fatal shooting of the Minneapolis nurse Alex Preddy last Saturday by immigration officers as fierce protests continued on the streets there. We're looking at everything that would shed light on that day. Todd Blanche, or however you say that, Deputy to the Attorney General Pam Bondi, said at a press conference on Friday morning in Washington, D.C. So, yeah, this is old. Like, this was yesterday. But, you know, they're investigating. So we're going to get some answers on what exactly happened, all the before. Because obviously all we have is what is, you know, footage from right before and when it happened. I kind of want to know, you know, when did he show up? What was he doing beforehand? Things like that.
Yep.
So now I want to discuss some of the opinions and kind of reactions.
Yeah.
So I'm going to throw back a little bit to the first shooting of Renee Good. Immediately, Christy Nome. Oh, first of all, I'll put this out. Also in the news, Greg Bovino is gone. He was taken out of Minneapolis. Now, Tom Homan is in charge.
Yes.
Which I think is for the best.
Yes.
I think Greg Bovino maybe was a little gung-ho, and it also reflects in maybe some of his rhetoric or his takes on the shootings.
Yeah.
And Christy Nome, it seems like she's being shafted almost from kind of dealing with all this kind of stuff right now. From what it looks like, I don't know if she's going to get fired. She might get fired, but we'll see. Because it seems like the administration is swiveling a little bit, not in a bad way. They should have been doing this in the first place. Because as we know, it became a numbers game in Minneapolis where it was more trying to reach quotas.
Yes.
And I think that's a problem, because then you are just checking everybody, or you're not really going after the targets that are going to be politically favorable to the administration anyway. And it opens up the doors to more potential for missteps and negligence, and even incidences like this. So if they're just trying to reach a quota, then they're gonna, they might do some immoral things to reach that quota. You never know. I mean, this is why the police aren't really on a quota, are they? They're not. They just do their job.
Yeah.
Hell, I know if I was a police officer, if nothing happened that day, I'd be like, good, I get to go home alive. Like, I'd be happy. But, and with the rhetoric, right? So people like Christy Nome, especially Christy Nome, the moment Renee Good was shot, I believe it was one of her first appearance after she was shot, she immediately went into calling her a domestic terrorist.
Yeah.
Now I think that was a mistake, because there's no evidence that she was trying to hit him. Did she hit him? Yes. Was she trying to is a different question. It is a matter of fact and intention. So
Yep.
the fact is that she did hit an ICE officer with her vehicle. Her intention, we don't know, right? So we don't know if she was trying to. Maybe she was, and at that point, then maybe there's a case to be made that she could be labeled that. But especially when that had just happened, I don't think the first words that should come out of your mouth is, "Oh, she deserved it. She's a domestic terrorist." Okay, just for an idea, right? And then with Alex Preddy, immediately after, she comes out and she's talking about how he's a domestic terrorist and how he was there harassing officers and trying to I forget her exact words. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Oops. Noam says her response to Preddy's shooting may have been wrong. No shit. You immediately labeled this guy a domestic terrorist. Again, and I mean, at least in the Renee Good situation, you can make the claim that, okay, we don't know yet, and from the way that her tire was spinning, maybe she intended to hit the officer. You know, that's, at least in that, you can make a more reasonable case. Does that mean that you should immediately come out and say that for one of the first things you say? No. But with this, from the footage that we had, he didn't have the gun by the point that he was shot. Now, this is taking away the possibility of a misfire from his firearm and the fact that the gray sweater officer did not say anything. With that, if you're just looking at the footage, it's like you can't. And this is, mind you, before we saw the footage of him kicking out that tail light 10 days or so before. Why would you say that? Okay?
Yeah.
I don't know what it is with this administration, or with certain people in the administration. I'm not going to say that it's Trump. Trump is Trump. He's always going to have his moments of lapse of judgment. I mean, we've already been through this the first 4 years. We know what kind of stuff to expect from Trump. But it's like, are you guys trying to make the operation look worse than it already looks? Now, let me be clear. I'm in favor of ICE operations in Minneapolis and across the country. Like I just suggested earlier, illegal immigrants, especially the criminals right now, which should be the target, and violent offenders should go home, if not arrested. Well, they will be arrested, but immediately sent home, and then their government can deal with them, because you can't tell me that when they get home they're going to be, flowers. They're going to be, peaceful little daisies. They're not. They're going to commit crimes there, and then their government can deal with them. And I hate to break it to you, but the United States justice system is a lot more forgiving and merciful than any other nation on the planet. So
yeah.
They're going to have a good time in those prisons. Have fun in an El Salvadorian prison, seriously. But it's foolish, really. She shouldn't have said it. Greg Bovino said similar things about these shootings. So now he's gone. So I guess the administration is doing a little bit of damage control with how some of the rhetoric has come out from the administration on these shootings and on ICE operations in Minneapolis. Now, to be clear, that does not absolve the protesters, or I'm sorry, air quotes protesters, right? Because they're not protesting anything anymore. They're impeding law enforcement. They're attacking law enforcement. That doesn't absolve them of anything. Okay. And also, there's another big news that Don Lemon got arrested. We'll get to that. But
Yo.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
But let me see here. I really want to find this video of her speaking on it originally. Here, let's see what she says on Fox News. When was this? This was 2 days ago. Okay. And then there's this as well. I'll pull this up in a second. I don't know. Okay. Yep. Hannity, we're stealing your content. How does that feel?
Oh.
Hold on, I'm sorry. I know. Here we go with me pausing every 5 seconds. I'm sorry. That's not. I wouldn't really call that your job. You're not a news agency. You work for the federal government.
Yeah.
We cannot be gung ho posting shit on X 2 hours after the shooting happens. Oh, this is what we learned. Yeah, and this is totally what happened. Oh, he was like apparently Bovino says the guy was there to do maximum damage. There's nothing to suggest that he was there to shoot anybody other than the fact that he had the tool required to shoot somebody with.
Yep.
So do other people. And we'll get to the 2A thing and how people are like, oh, the Republicans don't like the Second Amendment now, and now the Second Amendment is a leftist thing. And no, it's not. You guys want to disarm the entire fucking population anyway, so fuck you. The only people who actually want guns on the left are communists, and we all know why they want guns. Anyway. People like Chris Valenti are like, oh, we need to arm ourselves because the revolution's coming. The revolution's coming. I know where you're gonna lead the revolution, you fucking fat ass. You're gonna command it from your fucking mother's basement, you fucking weirdo. Anyway, it's premature, it's inappropriate, and it's unacceptable. Okay, we cannot be going, we don't have all the information yet, but this is what happened, and and listen, if that was her personal opinion that he was a domestic terrorist, that's fine, but don't suggest that he was there to do harm or anything like that, and maybe he was. We don't know. Okay, we don't know. Obviously, he was resisting arrest. That's a strike against him. Okay. We'll get to the fact that he brought a firearm to a protest. We'll get to that too. All right? Because, the Second Amendment is great, but you also got to know where to bring your gun and where to leave it home. Okay? I get it. And I get that it's a volatile situation in Minneapolis, but given the footage that we saw of him 10 days before the shooting, give or take, we know what kind of person he is. Anyway. Let's continue. Let's see what else she has to say. I think Steve Miller also suggested something similar to that he wanted to shoot ICE officers or something like that. You should have gathered the information before you came out and said that they were domestic terrorists.
Exactly.
The people we call terrorists? People who have a history, documented history, of committing violence for political reasons, okay? Killing people like ISIS, for instance, right? No one questions that they're terrorists other than them, and they would probably admit it themselves, okay? That's clear cut, okay? I know everybody's using, they're American citizens, okay? I get it, yeah. They are American citizens. American citizens get shot by police all the time. I understand that. American citizens aren't saints. Anyway, we need to be more careful, okay? And I say we as in conservatives, because it's not just them, people in government, who are saying these things. It's people online who are conservatives, who are trying to push conservative values to other people. That is why you post certain things. You post your opinion because you want to maybe convince somebody that maybe your opinion is right. And if your opinion is the moment that a shooting happens in Minneapolis involving ICE or BPD or CBP, sorry, Customs and Border Patrol. If the moment that happens, you're immediately like, oh, well, they obviously didn't do anything wrong. The other person is a domestic terrorist. You're not doing anything helpful, okay? You're not. I hate to break it to you, but in events like this, in history, in politics, there is nuance. And there is context. And the context will push your opinion on a certain thing. But if you go in without the context, you're just going off of ideology. And if your ideology is ICE is good, those guys are bad, then you're going to immediately say that they're domestic terrorists, okay? Let's be more careful. Not just them, us. We have to be more careful. Because we get ourselves into these messes all the time. We give the left ammo. Okay? No pun intended. But we give them ammunition to go after us. I don't know.
Yep.
If one thing Republicans are not great at, it's PR, and I think there's it's not impossible to have good PR as a Republican or as a conservative. It's not. You have to be smart. That's probably one of the biggest problems I have with the current administration is the PR. Because listen, I can agree completely with what you're saying, Trump. But if you're giving it, if you're putting it to the American people in a piss poor way, then it's a piss poor way, and people aren't going to agree with it. Okay, you could have all the good intention. It could be the greatest economic plan. It could be the greatest domestic plan, social plan, policing plan, foreign affairs plan. It could be the greatest. Okay. But if you put it in such a way that looks bad to the American people, they're not going to support it. I know, crazy. It took us this long to figure this out. America's only been around for 250 years, and we just figured it out. But just saying, policy doesn't look good when you put it in a bad way. Notice how she has not answered the question.
Yep.
The question, if I'm not mistaken, was it too quick to suggest that they are domestic terrorists? That was the question. Okay? Now, they like to ramble, so maybe she's going to get to the question at some point. But
Yep.
he took that thing out, though. Hold up.
Yeah.
Clearly, there's a history there of attacking our law enforcement officers and our CBP and ICE officers, and that's an example of what our officers have had to face every single day in Minneapolis and in Minnesota, and why I'm grateful that the president had the wisdom to send Tom Homan there to have conversations again to see if he can get the leaders of Governor Walz and Mayor Fry to commit to honoring our detainers and to keeping our officers safe while they do their work. We've been asking them to do this for months. They have refused to agree. We're hoping that Tom has an opportunity to restart those conversations and see if we can get them to help clean up the streets of Minneapolis.
While I ask you this next question, I will scroll the people arrested in Minnesota alone. I mean, murderers, rapists, child molesters, drug dealers, because of the bravery of
They're trying to sell me Toyotas. Oh my god.
Yep.
Oh, there we go.
All right. Interesting. Well, these radicals.
Now Donald Trump is trying to clean that up. He's already closed the border. We've been a big part of that effort. It is sad that so-called leaders won't partner and enforce the laws of our land. That is a real tragedy to me today. I'll give you the last word.
I'm just so grateful that President Trump stopped the invasion. He secured that border immediately. Not letting any more of those dangerous individuals into our country. Now we just need to get these perpetuators of violence out of our country to keep the American people safe.
All right, let's see what Greg Bovino has to say.
That's why they think outside the box here. They help protect your privacy store. And they give your business opioids to the drugstore. So while you're juggling everything else like the boss you are, you need that extra pair of hands here. You can count on us as the shutting and mailboxing. Anything and everything is a cheap department store. Come into the
Shut up, UPS.
and be unstoppable.
Are we serious? Really?
Wait, what?
Here, I'll play it again. Let me.
This looks like a situation where an individual wanted to do maximum damage and massacre lovers. Then, about 200 rioters
So what, you heard that, right? You heard what he said?
No, I wasn't. I was reading something else that I had to tell you. Go ahead. Can you play one more time?
Yep.
Sorry.
No, you're good.
to speak to the subject, but the subject was pronounced dead at the scene. The suspect also had 2 loaded magazines and no accessible ID. This looks like a situation where an individual wanted to do maximum damage and massacre law enforcement.
Hold on. Give me 1 second, sorry.
Oh.
Technical difficulties, sorry.
You're good.
Then, about 200 rioters arrived at the scene and began to obstruct and assault law enforcement. Crowd control measures have been deployed for the safety of the public and law enforcement. This situation is evolving, and more information is forthcoming. The officer was highly trained and had been serving as a Border Patrol agent for 8 years. The officer has extensive training as a range safety officer and less
There we
lethal
go.
officer.
That's
As mentioned, this is only
sorry.
the
I
latest.
was informed that couldn't really hear what was being said. Okay, sorry. Give me 1 more second. I'm just gonna go check.
You're good.
And then, yeah. Did you hear that?
No, I did not.
Oh, I put noise suppression on because apparently in the stream that you can probably hear my PC fan going.
Oh,
But
that's
hey,
funny.
it's fixed now. So
You good? Yep.
sorry to everybody who watched this far and have been like, "What the hell are they saying?" Oh, yeah. So yeah, basically, say that it appeared that he wanted to do maximum damage and massacre agents.
I mean,
Okay.
you could definitely take that angle
Right, but given the
because
given
I
the
mean, go ahead.
sorry, given the information that at this point, because when was this? This was the day that it happened, right? Given all the information that we had, I'm just curious, what would give you that perspective?
No discernible ID
Okay, that's fair.
and the magazines. I mean, the magazines matter, but they also don't matter because people that conceal carry you can have extra magazines. That's fine.
Right.
So it isn't the fact that he brought magazines, but having extra magazines could also mean that maybe you were expecting a standoff. And
Right.
yes, it's only 17 rounds of mag. That can still give you enough time to kill someone.
Yeah. And then do a shootout and get away.
Yeah.
Potentially. Right. Yeah. I mean, I can see it.
Like I can see it as well, but do I believe it?
I mean, if he wanted to perform a massacre, he would have done it when he showed up. You know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not oh, I'm gonna start a massacre by having a bunch of ICE officers on top of me. You know, like,
Yeah.
you usually want to start that. I'm not okay. Before I even say this, I'm not giving you tips to do it. Okay, and I would not want someone to do that. But you would think that if somebody in their mind was like, okay, I want to shoot ICE officers today. That's what I want to do with my day. I don't want to get a job. I don't want to go to work. I don't want to make money. I don't want to do anything productive with myself. I want to go shoot ICE officers. And yes, I know he was an ICU nurse. I was kidding. Fuck you. Don't take my jokes so
Well,
seriously.
all right.
But
So I mean, we also have to talk about that. I had told you before that he was fired. I don't think that's true anymore, but I believe he was put on administrative leave due to some issues that he was having. Um, and also what his dad was saying, how he had been beginning to change rapidly, his personality, and he seemed to take a darker turn more recently. And then he joined groups that were fueling his anger and his mentality. Um, so that is also, I mean, I do want to say this. He could have been looking for an excuse to start a mass shooting.
Yeah.
To start shooting, which, I mean, he definitely had, but I mean, I don't know. I don't know.
But I see that. But I also feel like if he wanted that before a bunch of the agents even were on him, he would have had that. He would have had that. So I'm surprised
Sure,
he didn't
yeah,
pull his
for
gun
sure.
out by that point.
Yeah.
So there's just a lot, and
Yep.
although I could see how you would be like, okay, maybe that is, maybe he brought it in case, or if he was able to just stand there, like maybe that was his intention, but also the same day, I don't really see the need in labeling so quickly. Like if it came out, right, that he had said to somebody, right, or there's a new angle of video beforehand where he says that he's going to shoot an ICE officer, or that's why he has the gun. Okay. Then it's like, okay, well, he's just made his intentions clear of why he came and why he has the gun with him. But we don't have that. We don't know that. So I just wonder, with everything that's happened in Minneapolis, why say that and then end up making it worse? Because you know exactly what they're going to end up saying about that. They're going to be like, oh, this innocent man is now being labeled as a domestic terrorist by the Trump administration. Like, literally all you have to say, and I wish they would say, like, we don't need immediate, like, oh, this is what happened. Say, we're monitoring the situation. We'll update you with information as follows, right? Like, boom, done. And then get all the information, figure it all out, start the investigation, whatever you got to do, and then come out and say what happened or what appeared to happen, right? Don't come out and be like, this guy was a domestic terrorist and he wanted to, commit massacre against these ICE or these these Border Patrol agents. It just doesn't help. It doesn't help. It raises the temperature in the room.
Yep.
It's foolish. It really is foolish. And I didn't really like the optics of Bovino anyway, so I'm glad he's going back to the border. I feel like that's probably would be a better place for him. Not,
Yep.
because there's like not as many people, and you're mainly dealing with people trying to come into the country,
Yes.
and a lot of cartels and people smuggling other people or drugs, and that's a better ball game for him. Not a highly populated city like Minneapolis, where you have to understand the rules of like, and maybe like just have better rhetoric, And I guess his rhetoric would be better served at the border, where you're dealing with literally the worst of the worst people, the cartels, instead of American citizens. Just saying. But to each their own opinion on that. But Tom Homan's coming in. I think he's going to do a good job. And hopefully things get better. It's pretty clear they're not stopping. At this point, it's up to Tim Waltz and Mayor Fry to bite the bullet and just say, okay,
Yep.
enforce law, you know, and law enforcement will assist you. Tell the protesters to go home, or be like, you guys can protest. We don't care. But if you get violent, we're not going to protect you. We're not going to say, oh, it's because ICE is ramping up tension. Like it's you guys, and you guys need to chill the fuck out, go home, or protest on the sidewalk. I don't know why you're even out here. There's a snowstorm. There was a snowstorm. Like, go home. It's too cold out. Just go, leave, go. Go home. Go be productive members of Minneapolis society. Let ICE do their business. Don't impede them. Don't block them on the streets. Don't attack them. Don't throw ice balls at them. Just be normal. That's it. Just be normal. But, I mean, it's Minneapolis. Are they really even capable of doing that? I guess could probably talk about the Second Amendment thing when it comes to this. The Second Amendment angle when it comes to this shooting. Now, obviously, we, and I know you and me, support the Second Amendment. Obviously, we do. We support the Second Amendment.
Yes.
But so it's not a matter of like, oh, now we don't support the Second Amendment and it's only for people who agree with us. It's never been like that. I don't think we've ever been of that opinion that, oh, unless you're a conservative, you can't own a firearm. That's not good. So, but there is a question to be had of what his reasoning of having, why he thought it appropriate, I suppose, to bring that gun with him. And I believe in the other video, for the one from many days before the shooting, he also had his firearm with him.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I get that you might want to protect yourself, but from another thing, wasn't it one of his family members who said that he used to never carry? And then he started carrying. I think I heard that somewhere. I guess fact check me if I'm wrong, but it's just it's interesting. It's definitely interesting, and I'm grappling with opinions on it, trying to figure it out myself. I definitely think that, because at this point, it's not protesting, it's not really protests you're going to, you're going out to impede law enforcement, okay? That's what you're doing.
Yeah.
You're not on a sidewalk holding up signs anymore. You're blowing whistles when ICE shows up. They literally have systems and networks where they communicate with each other, and they have like spotters out there now. Like, they think I think they honestly think that the revolution is beginning, and that's what they're role playing. Like, oh, spotters for like the federal agents, right? Like, oh,
Yeah.
they're coming in a black Ford Escape or a Ford Explorer, and the license plate is blah 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 blah, and they're going down this street, and we're gonna blow whistles. So if you're in the area, come over and we can beat them up or something, or stop them from moving and going where they need to go. That's bad. Okay, that's bad. And then you have Alex Preddy, who shows up and he has a firearm with him. And like you said, it seems like he brandished it, or at least made officers aware that he had it. So that also doesn't look good. It makes you wonder, why was he there, right?
Yep.
And these are all questions we can have, but like I said with Bovino here, that doesn't mean you immediately jump to a conclusion, about it. You can have these questions. He could say, okay, there's questions of why he had the handgun with him, why he had 2 loaded mags, why this, why that. We're going to figure it out. We're going to investigate. But as far as we know right now, this is what happened. It's under investigation. The officers are on administrative leave while the investigation goes. You know, things like that. Just give us the facts of what happened at the scene, what we saw, not your fucking opinion on the person who was shot. Okay? Now, if he had like pointed the gun at officers and they shot him, then you can be like, oh yeah, he probably wanted to shoot an officer. No shit, Sherlock. But him being on the ground and then the gun being taken away from him, and then him being shot when he had many opportunities, if he wanted to, pull his gun and shoot. Or at least attempt to. I don't know. I mean, I could see an argument of why maybe, of how that could maybe be his intention, but it doesn't scream domestic terrorist to me. I don't know. It just doesn't. It screams a fucking retard, sure. It screams someone who resisted arrest, sure. It screams someone who brought themselves into the situation with a firearm and thought it would end great for him. You know, there's a lot of things, and yeah, there's some rhetoric on the right that makes it seem like maybe they're going against, or the conservative movement is now against the Second Amendment. No, it's called be smart with it, right? Just like if you're utilizing the Second Amendment, but you decide to shoot somebody without any real thought, you get your gun taken away and you go to prison. Are we going to call that a Second Amendment violation too? Obviously, they're not on the same scale, but my point is that you have to respect the tool. The gun is not a toy. The Second Amendment is not something for fun, okay? It's not. It is for protection. It is for the ability to form militia if we were to be invaded or if the federal government was to encroach on our rights. Now they might say, oh, but they are. Okay, so you're suggesting that he should have shot an ICE officer. Okay, or Border Patrol. I understand. So you're just a scumbag. Okay, I got you. Because I hate to break it to you, American citizens are not losing their rights, period. They're not. They'd be like, oh, but women's rights to kill their baby. Shut up, okay? Like, no. Not a right women even had, okay? It was a disgusting thing, but this isn't about abortion, so. Yeah, there's a lot of different opinions and different information. That's the problem with these situations, is you never really know what actually happened. So until it's like 3 weeks later and you finally piece together the whole story. Because news agencies aren't going to piece it together for you. What do you think? Like, what? It's and of course the Democrats are using it to their advantage, as per the usual. They hate seeing American citizens shot unless it pushes forward their agenda and positions. So, yeah, you know.
Yeah.
And Ilhan Omar got hit with, what was it, apple cider vinegar?
Yep, it was. I guess now, I want to mention 2 things. We can talk about that. I want to mention the hotel thing.
Yeah, yes, please.
Real quick. So, protesters went to the building. Because it was informed that there more than likely was ICE residents. That's where they were staying.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they proceeded to go and started a riot, pretty much. It was a riot because they started to beat the doors down, break stuff, tear things down, just being despicable, horrible human beings.
Yes.
Just horrible. It's just stupid.
Right.
You break someone's business because they might have had ICE agents there.
Right. It's not even confirmed, right?
Yeah. Even though you guys have your cute little fucking list or whatever fucking now, which is already concerning that that isn't a priority to figure out more about.
Right.
But your cute little lists are like, oh, we have ICE agents staying here. You can't even be fucking for sure. It's
Your
just a
little-
mom and fucking tality.
Right, your little web and network that you have, your little revolutionary underground information train that you're getting your information from. Like, that's cute.
Yeah.
That's cute. What are you gonna do now? Go home and play with your little toy fucking revolutionaries? You're gonna do a toy reenactment of the Russian Civil War? You would like that, wouldn't you, you fucking commie piece of shit? But whatever. Continue.
So they proceed to do that, blah blah blah. I don't know a lot about it, but I know about the end, and it's why, um, it's a little disappointing, and it goes on into a little bit of what Tim Walz has said. So pretty much, towards the end of it, the protesters have mainly gone now, and they're in the video that's very iconic now going around. That I think it's stopped going around now because it isn't pushing the right rhetoric. There's a lone ICE agent sitting outside the front door, armed and stopping press and other protesters, what's left of the protesters, from entering the building.
Right.
A
Wasn't-
lone ICE agent
Wasn't he also bleeding? I think
who
he
had
got
a
hurt.
brick and was thrown at him and injured.
Yeah.
I think there's well there. Sorry, I'm saying alone. He wasn't alone. There were other officers, but he was alone standing in front of the building at this point.
Right.
And they're asking him if he's okay, if they can check on him, and he's saying he's fine. You can't check on me, blah blah blah. And then he proceeds to say something which I'm wondering as well for a lot of things. Where the fuck is the MPD at?
Right.
This is
Yeah.
a business.
Yeah.
This is a hotel where people are staying.
Right.
Where the fuck is MPD?
Yeah, no. They probably, you know what, it probably, because you can't tell me because there was probably other residents in there as well. You can't tell me any of them, none of them were like, oh my gosh, something's happening downstairs, let me call the police. And and I suppose what I guess happened is the police department got the call, they were like, huh. Looked online, saw what was happening, it was involving ICE, and they were like, oh, we can't do anything about it.
Exactly. And this now comes back to a meeting that Tim Walz had with someone where they asked him if he has told people to stand down. And he proceeded to lie his ass off and say he didn't tell the MPD to not help, he told the MPD to one, not help ICE or border control. He told them not to, and he told them not to interfere with anything. The only thing MPD is doing is regular traffic, and anything that's involving protests or major riots, yes, they are there, but they aren't really doing much else.
Right.
Most of it is ICE controlling and having to do what they have to do.
Right. Like a lot of the
Even though MPD should be involved.
Right, a lot of the reason why ICE agents are the ones who are getting the flack and being put into these situations is because Minneapolis police isn't there, or they're not doing anything, which puts it on the other law enforcement that is there, ICE, that they are now the ones who have to handle it, right? And I mean, I don't blame them for handling it, given the fact that it is being targeted at them. Their lives are in danger right now in Minneapolis. At any moment, a mob could show up and, listen, if something happened to that agent, you think they would help him? They would stand around to stop EMT from showing up and giving him aid. So, yeah, they're handling it. They have to handle it. They have to deal with what the cards that they've been given, and the cards are that the state government is against him. The police department can't do anything about it. The population is outraged. The population is mobilizing against, well, and I say mobilizing, not like getting firearms and going out and shooting them, but they are coming out specifically to impede law enforcement activity, specifically ICE. So
Yes.
It's
And two more things. Two things that are not with to do with this, but did you also see the video where Tim Walz is yelling into a crowd behind his gated home?
wait,
Like
you want to repeat that? What was it?
Tim Walz, he was yelling into a protesting crowd, showing support. I'm pretty sure, um, uh, behind his gated walls. He was behind his fence, screaming off to them.
I did not expect that.
And but also again, the issue is that they're pushing. I wouldn't be surprised that at some point that there will be them going out and shooting at ICE officers because of the rhetoric that is being pushed with Alex Preddy in beforehand.
Right. Yeah. It's a hostile, volatile situation in Minneapolis right now. And listen, I suppose the quickest way to end it is that if ICE was to leave, but it really wouldn't solve the problem. You know what it would do? It would embolden other communities around the country that if ICE is there, they can actively politically pressure them to leave.
Yep.
Which means that what is ICE's job anymore, right? If
Yeah.
a state government can just say no and the people can go out and start attacking them or impeding them and they just have to leave, then what's the point of they should all just go home, resign, and go find a new job that they're actually going to get paid for, you know?
Yeah.
Because they're not going to keep these people on and keep paying their salaries if they're not doing anything.
Yeah.
And it would give the left the victory, and Trump's not going to let them have that victory. So,
Yeah.
um,
Yep. By the way, some sad information. I'm sorry.
yeah.
I need to go.
Oh,
I
okay.
thought I had free tonight. I thought I was gonna be free. That has quickly changed.
Okay.
And I'm sorry.
That's fine.
I'm very sorry about that.
That's good.
So
That's
you're
all
gonna
good.
have to do a little bit of a solo stream.
That's fine. I'll probably just end it anyway. I got to deal with some stuff anyway.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
all right. Well, stream. This was fun. We're
Well,
gonna. Hmm?
we can either. What are you doing tomorrow? Because we can pick this back up tomorrow or maybe later tonight. But I'm guessing I don't know how late I'll be.
Okay. I don't know. Honestly.
You
Uh,
keep me updated, but jump back into this rather hopefully not a week from now.
yeah,
Hopefully
for sure.
sooner than later.
For sure. All right. I guess I'll end stream real quick. Stream. This was fun. We only
Thank
talked
you.
about this, but that's fine. We're gonna get back to it soon, either later
Yep.
or tomorrow or whatever day. But it won't be a week from now. And
Yes.
we'll get everybody's little news stories that everybody's talking about, and we'll talk about it all. So, thanks for watching. Please like. I actually want to move into this YouTube stuff. So, but yeah, we need support. But yeah, and I guess that's it. So, hope everybody is staying warm out there, and we'll see you guys soon.